everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster S.A.B.E.R with Hunter and with Divinity. For my loadout, I'll be using Gathering Storm. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using in this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using the scout rifle with shoot to loot. Next, I'll be using the famous Divinity. Next, I'll be using Sailspy pitch glass. For my exotic, I'll be using Stormchaser. I'll be using double linear fusion ammo finder and 10th resilience. For the arms, I'll be using grenade kickstart with elemental light anti-barrier scout and 10th resilience. For the chest plate will be double arc and solo resilience with trace rifle reserves and 10th resilience. For the legs, I'll be using linear fusion rifle scavenger with 10 discipline and elemental mod to make wells with grenades. Last, I'll be using beautiful wells with bomber 10 resilience and overload nades and an artifact mod to do damage on champions with arc ability. So I decided to use Divinity since the main reason why is they're going to be nerfing Divinity for next season. They're going to reduce the 30% to 15%. I do want to show that Divinity is such a fun weapon to use. You can even use it for solo runs, which I'm going to give an example for this video. So as you guys noticed, there is going to be a Warsat and I am going to do the mini cheese. I did mention on my master video that I will do it on Grandmasters. I didn't do this method on master version, so just to let everyone know if you are curious if I have done this on the Master Nightfall S.A.B.E.R. I'm going to wait until 100%, alright. Then I'm going to deal with 2 overload champions and the baby servitor. The servitor. Barrier servitor that will be floating very soon once it hits around 50%. So as you guys know, yes, they are going to be nerfing Divinity. So I am a bit sad of that. And the reason why I'm a bit sad and I'm trying my best to be neutral with this situation, I just wish they didn't have to nerf Divinity because there are casual players who don't even have Divinity. We have to think about mainly the players who work 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week. They only can play 1 hour or 2 hours of Destiny versus players who play 12 hours a day, right? Even for me, let me just tell you right now that I am not a streamer. I am not a YouTuber. When I make videos, it's a hobby. Right, and I try my best to make spare time to make videos. In my opinion, I really wish they didn't have to nerf Divinity. I wish they could just disable Divinity on day 1 raids and leave it alone. You know, let the players have fun. Let the casual players have fun with Divinity, especially for raids, for Grandmasters, pretty much anything, and for dungeons as well. As I said before, I'm just really sad that Divinity is going to be nerfed. And look at that barrier, cute, adorable champion. It's just looking and floating. It's like, where is that guardian? Is he behind the Warsat? We'll just leave it alone. Alright, so once we do hit 100%, and hopefully that fallen can get out of the screen because it scared me a bit. Now I mainly deal with the Barrier champion. Barrier champion up first, so I am going to be spamming Sailspy pitch glass. And I'm going to make sure I do enough DPS. So I am using Frenzy and Clown Cartridge. It's not so bad, to be honest. I really like the combo weapon perks. So now there's going to be 2 overload champions, so let's just use Divinity. Let's just abuse it. But Blitz, why don't you just tap the div? It works for fire team, but doesn't really work efficiently on a solo round. Mainly, I just hold the R2 button or the shooting button. And then once I do see it, the bubble, I quickly switch to my linear so I can do more DPS damage. Pretty cool method, by the way, but if I was actually going for a different subclass, I definitely would have just immediately one-shot the champion. But it is arc AQ, so of course I will abuse and use the overload arc grenades and abuse the AQ of the 25% more damage. So I am going to go to the tunnel, alright, and I definitely want to go to the right side. So this one can be kind of tricky for me. This is when I do have to spam Divinity a lot, and I had to be very careful with the fallen ads and the explosive shanks, because one is the sky rifle I'm using is slow, so it's hard to clear down ads. Two, I'm using a linear fusion rifle, so my best bet to clear ads if they are too close is using Divinity. And yes, I did use my Gathering Storm by mistake, but I thought there were a couple ads up ahead. I accidentally threw it at the wrong spot. Mainly, I wanted to throw it in the middle of the map so I can clear the ads from the far left side. Right there where I threw a nade, it was supposed to be right there, the Gathering Storm, but it didn't work out. You know, no one's perfect. As I said before, there's going to be a barrier champion and an overload champion. You want to make sure you clear out all the ads and then deal with the champions. If you do take down one of the champions, then you'll get the next wave of ads. So this one is tricky because one, the barrier champion is protecting these fallen snipers. I can't really walk in the middle of the map and wave and say hello guys, because as I said before, there are snipers and I can't really take them down because the barrier champion is shielding and protecting these snipers. And you can see right there, there's two of them. There's an overload champion, actually three of them, my mistake. There are three vandals. And also another thing I like to mention is if you do see these fallens that push, you can just spam Divinity, you can punch it, and then use your finisher. So as I said before, I'm just trying to figure out how am I going to do this method, because there is a couple of snipers and then there's this overload champion. So I decided to see if I could take down the overload champion, and hopefully the baby servitor won't immune the overload champion. I was praying for the Bungie and the Traveler, and you can see these snipers are melting me, so be very careful. Oh yeah, did I mention about console aim assist? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of console aim assist in this video. If you're wondering what the heck happened there, like why all of a sudden my character moved to the left side so fast, well, it wasn't me. Okay, it was PlayStation or Xbox. If you are on Xbox, well, you're trying to aim, and then this console aim assist just ruins your DPS. This is one of the reasons that really frustrates me when I'm trying to take down champions really fast. Alright, enough rant for that. So there's going to be a couple of snipers up ahead. Make sure you throw your nade and be very careful of the snipers. They can two-shot you. I am using double arc resilience, double with 100 resilience as well. Make sure you take down the sniper shanks before dealing with the overload champions. I was just double checking, by the way. I heard someone shooting from the left side, that's why I hesitated and didn't really spam Divinity and abuse it on this specific overload champion. So because everything is good to go, I decided to just use Sailspy and then take him down. So now we're going to deal with another overload champion. My mistake. We're going to be dealing with a barrier champion, which I should have taken down a long time ago, but it was just hiding in that little corner. So this one could be a bit tricky. And the reason why I say this is tricky is because, one, there are 2 snipers and they can 2-shot me. So this servitor is protecting these vandals. And I'm trying to figure out how am I going to make this barrier champion move. So this actually took a while. I had to be a little patient. Not extremely patient like Glassway, but I would say a little bit. So when staggering the barrier champion, just make sure you use the wall to take cover. Use your super if needed. Definitely highly recommend just throw the spear on the barrier champion. And then you can proceed to the next section. Well, not proceed to the next section, but I would say the next wave of ads. So this is going to be the next wave of ads. You have to take down the arc charge. Now, there are 2 methods to deal with this situation. I didn't really trust Divinity 100% of going to the tunnel to take down 2 of the Overload champions. Also because I used my super, I wanted to save it, but the barrier servitor was in the way. So I decided to go for method 2. Mainly, I'm just going to clear down all these ads. Make sure I take down these explosive shanks. Once I do, I just take my time clearing out these snipers. And they were gold bar, which I didn't like. Because they're going to be a bit tanky, I was trying to figure out if I could use my heavy to do DPS. I was trying to throw my storm grenades, so be very cautious of the snipers and these fallen ads that shoot solar. Yeah, there are these invisible fallens that kind of can get in your way. But just remember, console aim assist can sometimes mess up your DPS on champions or pretty much anything. I just saw that invisible fallen. I was trying to take him down with the scout. And then I saw this Overload champion at a really good spot. I couldn't ignore it, so I wanted to just spam the linear fusion rifle. So once everything is okay, right? I wanted to see where the Overload champion is. He's teleporting from the right side, and then just do DPS. So now I'm just fighting with this Overload champion with Divinity. And then we can make our way to the next section. Isn't it fun just using Divinity? But Blitz is gonna be nerfed. It doesn't matter anymore. Well, I'm just showing how fun this weapon can be even for solo GM, especially for this Nightfall. You know, it's so sad that it's gonna be nerfed. In my opinion, I think they should just disable Divinity on day 1 raids and leave it alone. Because, like I said, not a lot of players have this weapon, right? Or players who don't play a lot of Destiny, you know, they deserve to have fun with Divinity, and it should be left alone. I'm gonna deal with the gold bar shanks, right? And there's gonna be this arc that will be passing through. Now remember that this arc can one-shot you on Master, Legend, even Grandmaster. So make sure you don't touch the electric arc. So now what we're gonna do over here is we're gonna be picking up the heavy orb charge. So for the hunter method, it is best to slide. I just kept forgetting to slide, and also my controller is kind of broken. I'm waiting for the new controller for the PS5, by the way, so that's why I haven't bought a new controller yet. And yes, the warranty of my controller is expired, so I had to buy another one, which is going to cost, I would say, $70. It's very expensive, so I do want to wait until the new controller is out. So I did throw my nade and quickly cross the electric of death. I waited for this arc to disappear, and now we can deal probably the most annoying section ever. I really despise this area because it all depends of how many champions you take down, and it's very weird. So there's gonna be infinite waves of ads depending of your situation. So mainly what you want to do over here is take down the champion up ahead. Now it's really hard to clear down all these ads, and yes, there's gonna be these infinite explosive shanks that spawn every, I would say, 15 seconds. Mainly you want to clear down Pacific ads and then deal with the champion. And it can be a bit frustrating, especially with this loadout, with the linear, and then with the Divinity. It can be a bit complicated. But Blitz, why don't you just use a machine gun? I could have used a machine gun. At the same time, I wanted to use Sailspy pitch glass because I haven't shown a solo GM on this weapon yet. So I decided to just use it because I did make a craft video and I did say that's good for grandmasters, and I do want to show proof that it is good for champions. So now I had to go patient mode because a lot of these ads were shooting solar and it was just getting a bit complicated. Now you're probably noticing why I can't get out the door. I'm kind of not trapped, but I'm just waiting for this Pacific Fallen and also waiting for my grenades so I can throw the grenades and take down these elite Fallens. That way I can deal with the champion. Now be aware of these grenades can melt you, so I was trying to see if I can take down this champion, but then all these ads were protecting their life. Be aware that there are snipers. And just spam your heavy if you do see snipers or any Fallens that are in the way. So I did see an overload champion, but it was immune by the barrier one. So I was trying to figure out how can I deal with this situation. So my idea was to take down the barrier champion first, then the overload right away. So I was trying to figure out of how am I gonna do this, because these Fallens are shooting solar all the way from the back of the map. It is ridiculous. Not only that, the barrier champion is shielding these Fallens at the same time. So it is extremely annoying, but finally I was out of that tunnel and I can stab this annoying barrier because it was just making me wait for 3 minutes of my life stuck in that little door. And finally we can deal with the overload champions. So there is going to be about 3 overload champions. I was trying to see if I can take down one of them. I don't think it worked out for this footage. I was trying to take them down, but I was too slow. Plus, I was low on heavy. Now, if I had enough heavy, I would have taken down the overload champion right away. So because of that, you know, the punishment is I need to beat one of the overload champions and then take down the 2 remaining overload champions. So I am waiting for the first one to walk towards me, and then there's gonna be these wretches that spawn every 30 seconds. They spawn every 30 seconds until you take down the first overload champion. It's weird. It's always been like this for a long time. So finally, I trapped the overload champion and I'm going to be spamming Divinity. So yes, I could switch to my heavy, but as I said before, I'm very low on heavy. you can see I only have, well, 0. I have 0 heavy, so that's why I was just using Divinity and I didn't really do the combo of the heavy DPS. Alright, so now we got 2 more Overload Champions. We got these wretches that always spawn every 30 seconds of your life. I did pull back because I was low and plus I only have 3 heavy. So I was trying to figure out if they can go through the door. And then all of a sudden I got more heavy, which I was very happy because I could finally deal with the Overload Champions. So now I'm going to reload my weapon and Divinity. I saw these Overload Champions huddle up, which is perfect. So now I can throw my nade and then just spam Divinity. And as I said before, you can combo with the linear fusion rifle. So I did combo it a bit since I was low on health. And then I pulled back to regain my health, just to make sure I don't go back to orbit. So now this is the last Overload Champion for now, by the way, where I was just looking for a couple of special ammo because this Overload Champion was being a little bit frustrating. So finally I trapped it with Divinity and I was trying to grab a couple ammo at the same time. That's why you saw me stop shooting and I was just looking for ammo. So finally I defeated the Overload Champion. I was abusing Divinity since it gives a 30% weaken. So now we can proceed to the next section. Yep, Divinity is really fun. So far so good, right? So I actually had some trouble for this section, and it was just bad luck, to be honest. Mainly what you want to do over here is take down the barrier champion, but unfortunately for me, the barrier champion decided to float to the left side, which was extremely annoying, and I missed my spear. I really wanted to stab that, throw the spear on that barrier champion. Now if I did throw the spear on the barrier champion, then I would have defeated the champion right now, but I missed. It did look like I caught the barrier champion, but unfortunately I didn't. Next time I'll throw the spear and stab it. So that barrier champion is so lucky, I'll come back next time or another Nightfall and I will abuse Gathering Storm. Now make sure you switch to your spyglass. Just use precision shots to deal with this champion. Alright, so now we get to deal probably the most annoying and most frustrating part throughout this entire Nightfall. We're gonna deal with 3 Overload Champions. So let's see what we got here. We got the Arc Seeker Overload Champion. We got the Solar One-Shot Champion. And then we also got the Overload Champion that likes to shoot solar, but 3 shots in one go. So there's just a lot of things going on, and you're probably wondering why I'm not taking down the Overload Champions yet. Well, the reason why is because there are snipers. A lot of snipers. Well, a couple. You want to make sure you take down these snipers first before spamming and abusing Divinity. So I am trying to see where the snipers are and making sure I clear all of them down before taking down the Overload Champions. I missed one sniper, so I want to make sure I take him down. So I did throw my nade. So once I take down this sniper, then I can actually deal with the Overload Champions. So yes, I am not doing DPS at the Overload Champions yet. I am trying to take down the sniper. So finally I took down the Elite Vandal. So now we can deal with the Overload Champions. It's just so fun. How can this work out? Blitz, I don't think you can do it. It's just 3 versus Divinity. Well, I'm pretty sure I can take down these 3 Overload Champions with Divinity. So watch this. So I am going to abuse Divinity, take 1 down, 2 more to go. Alright, so my heavy is 7. Alright, and I almost have my super. So my idea is I am going to just throw a spear on this Overload Champion or stab it. And then just spam Divinity. So let's see if it does work. So I'm going to throw my nade, spam Divinity, right? And then I was debating, should I throw a spear and stab it? I was thinking about it, right? But then I said to myself, well, I did take down these Overload Champions, right? But then all of a sudden, the second one, all of a sudden regained its health. I thought I took down the second Overload Champion, but it didn't work out. So I had no choice. By the way, I was getting a little bit annoyed. So I did throw and stab the Overload Champions. It's just amazing. So not only I threw the spear on them, I also spammed Divinity. It's fun, by the way, trust me. You're gonna feel so much better of taking all your frustration on dealing with these annoying Overload Champions. So be aware of the glitch, so make sure you don't hug the wall because you can get one shot by the bug. Now we're going to be at the boss fight. We get to deal with 2 baby adorable servitors. Mainly what you want to do is take down these servitors right away. Once you take down the servitors, then you can actually go to the boss fight. Now I'm going to do a time skip here. I actually was waiting for my super so I can make the boss fight easier since I am using Divinity. So I'm going to do a mini time skip for this. Once I took down the adorable servitor and the shanks, now we get to deal with the boss. So first thing what I do is I just double check if I can do DPS at the boss. Then I just you throw the spear on the boss and then you just spam Divinity. So you can weaken the saber or the boss. And then you can make it immune and go to the next phase. It didn't work out too well because all these shanks were floating around and getting in my way. So I do want to move the shank from left and right. I don't want him near on my little bubble spot. Alright. So mainly I am spamming Divinity and I am just going back and forth, trying to make the boss move from the opposite direction. At the same time, I do recommend you throw your storm grenades to clear down the ads. So I am trying my best to go left and right. I was using the emote because I wanted to make sure I clear down all the ads and make sure they are not behind me. So once I do 1 bar of the boss's health, he'll have his shield, and then this is when you can take your time. So usually during this phase, it is best to save for your super and to clear down all these shanks. So there is going to be a barrier champion, by the way. I do recommend to clear down all the ads as much as you can before dealing with the barrier champion. Reason why is sometimes you're trying to do DPS a barrier champion and then the shanks are shooting you. And sometimes you can get distracted because the boss can actually snipe you with its solar attack. And pretty much it can one-shot you if you're on not full health. So that's why, if you notice, I am hiding behind the walls because I know the boss can snipe me even though it's shielded in its cocoon or in its sleeping mode. Be very careful that it has the ability to snipe you. And yes, I am abusing shoot to loot with the sky rifle. I was trying to figure out where the barrier champion is. Looks like he's moving on the perfect spot where the boss can't see me. So I am going to be taking down this barrier champion. And definitely, I do recommend to wait for your super. So now I'm going to take my time to deal with the barrier champion. And the reason why I'm doing this method is because I really want to save for my super for the next phase. The next phase is kind of tricky because there's going to be a couple snipers, mainly explosive shanks, which they can sneak up on you if you're not careful. So that's why I took my time dealing with the barrier champion. I could have taken down the barrier champion right away, but I didn't. I just wanted to use sky rifle, and plus, if you guys notice, I don't have any heavy. Basically, what I have to do is rely on Divinity for this phase. And a bit of using the sky rifle. So now we're gonna make the boss to spawn in the middle. So I had to make this count where I really have to throw the spear on the boss. So I had to be very careful. I did a dodge because I saw him that he was about to snipe me. And I was trying to use Divinity as much as I can, and at the same time the shanks were shooting me. So now the boss is moving, so I want him to move from the left side. He was way too close to my bubble spot. Alright, personal space, by the way. So this boss was way too close to my guardian. So I was just making sure it moves left and right. And at the same time, I am throwing storm grenades if I do get it. So I can make sure this boss goes to the next phase. So this is probably the time where I highly recommend you take down the sniper shanks. So explosive, mainly the sniper shanks will spawn, so I recommend you take them down before the barrier champion has a chance to immune it. So there's going to be these explosive shanks, so be very careful because like I said, they can sneak up on you like it did on my guardian. And make sure you are hiding behind a wall, and if you do see the sniper, just try your best to stagger the champion so you can deal with the snipers that's flying or floating in the air. For the storm grenades, it looked like it took down one of these sniper shanks. I think I missed one, by the way. Yes, I think I missed one. So make sure you take down all the ads before dealing with the barrier champion. Alright, sorry about that. I was spamming and abusing shoot to loot. So there is one more sniper up ahead. I do want to stagger this barrier champion and then deal with the sniper. So once I stagger the barrier champion, it looked like the sniper was already taken down when I threw my storm grenades. That was weird, but okay. You know, we took down all the ads, so now we can deal with the champion. Okay, so you're probably wondering what's going on here. So the bear champion was hiding and regained all his health, so I had to wait and do DPS all over again. So I do have to do DPS all over again. So I am abusing Divinity, and now I'm gonna go to the opposite direction. So mainly what you want to do over here is you can do DPS at the boss right now, or you can just take your time to clear down the explosive shanks. It all depends on everyone's playstyle. By the way, if you do want to clear down the explosive shanks, you can. It will take around 2 minutes. Make sure you are aware of your surroundings. Sometimes these explosive shanks can sneak up on you. So I'm going to do a mini time skip for this. So mainly what's going on over here is I am just going to be shooting all these explosive shanks until they're all gone. Then I'm going to be doing DPS at the boss. Alright, so once I clear down all the explosive shanks, be very careful with them. If they do sneak up on you, you can just run from the opposite direction, but not near the bubble spot where I was standing since there is arc. Just try your best to throw your storm grenades, right? And then just jump over them and then go back to your safe spot. And the safe spot is basically the one where I'm standing right now. So we clear down all the, I would say, the explosive shanks. Mainly what you want to do over here is just spam Divinity. So I saw a lot of ammo for Div. So I decided to just use it, and I wanted to save my heavy during the mini storm caller psychopathic boss mode. Mainly the boss will turn into a mini storm caller and he will follow you and float like a maniac. Which is why I definitely want to just throw the spear on the boss, you know, stab it, put a spear on the boss, right? Because when it is chasing you, the spear is still going to do DPS, which is neat. Alright, so now we're going to do over here is we're going to do DPS at the shank. So I'm trying to be very careful with this method, and the reason why is I want to throw the spear on the boss and make sure I don't miss, because if I miss, then it's gonna be a problem, because one, my heavy is very low and the boss is going to move away from the gathering storm, and I don't want that to happen. So that's why I was being very cautious with this part, because I want to make sure I throw the spear on the boss and make sure nothing goes wrong. So I finally threw the spear, I stabbed the boss and used Divinity. So I did pull away to do DPS with the linear fusion rifle. Finally, we took down the boss and we got Platinum. So yeah, overall Divinity is fun. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.